Miss South Africa and the controversy around the rules changing. I think this is a testament of how society standards have been lowered. The Miss South Africa I grew up with was someone that was embodying of purity and grace. From being Miss Teen or having entered Miss Teen, an aspirational young woman that should be modeled by young women. But let's look at the difference between the rules in 2020 and now in 2024. Now, so that I don't make up my own words and that you can see that Google is our friend and the internet never ages. The internet doesn't forget, you can always find something. I am on the page of Miss South Africa 2020 requirements, and let's start in hot and heavy. The applicant shall not ever have been married, civil nor customary, nor had a marriage annulled. Now let's go and look at the 2024. One of the questions here on the FAQs, can I enter if I have been married or am currently married? And the answer is there are no restrictions in respect of the applicant's marital status. To me, this is a contradiction to what Miss South Africa represents because there is Mrs. South Africa. What is the point of Mrs. South Africa if in Miss South Africa, women that have been married or are currently married can enter Miss South Africa, who is embodying a pure single woman that is a high standard for young girls to achieve to. In 2020, one of the rules said the applicant cannot be pregnant, have given birth to, or parented a child and not be the legal guardian of any minor. Now, this is very different to what now they're including, because when I go back to the vision I had of Miss South Africa when I was younger, that this is embodying a pure, graceful woman that is an example for women. And in 2020, not so long ago, this rule still stood that you cannot be a mother in any form for you to be Miss South Africa 2020. However, in 2024, the rules changed. And the rules say, the question is, can I be a guardian of a child or have given birth to a child? The answer is, there are no restrictions in respect of the applicant's parental status or appointment as a legal guardian of a child. Now, as someone that is child-free and I don't have children, to me, this shows how the demographics have changed, and not only in just 4 years, but over the history of Miss South Africa. I personally feel that they were finding it difficult to find a lot of eligible women for Miss South Africa 2020. Therefore, they opened it up for more women that were not within their requirements. And this shows how things in South Africa have changed. There are probably more women that have children than women that do not have children. The age has also changed. In Miss South Africa 2020, it states, a Miss South Africa 2020 applicant must be at least 20 years old and be under 28 years old of age. This means that an applicant can turn 28 within the year of her reign. Very much different to the 2024 requirements that have extended the age to 30. To 30 years old, that you can actually enter if you are turning 30. And here is the answer. One of the question is, how old must I be to be eligible to enter? An applicant must be at least 20 years old and must be under 30 years of age. This means that an applicant can turn 30 within their year of reign. I'm not really mad about this one because then it just means that more women can try out because they have extended the age. I think maybe it kind of defeats the purpose of Mrs. South Africa as well, because now their rules are overlapping with another competition. Already they've said that you can have been married, and Mrs. South Africa is supposed to be for women that have been married, are divorced or widowed, or, in some stage been married basically. But Miss South Africa is now including women that are married and have children, which is contradictory to what they first stood for when Miss South Africa began. With the change of requirements being so vastly different, it really just shows me how the standards of society have been lowered and how we're being conditioned to accept certain things that may not have been socially acceptable back in the day. But because now we need to be more inclusive and politically correct, we lower our standards. Miss South Africa no longer really represents the same thing it used to represent even 10 years ago. If as early as 4 years ago, the rules were completely opposite to what they're doing now, it really shows that by the time Miss South Africa comes in the next 4 years, anyone and everyone will be able to enter. And already anyone and everybody is able to enter. I don't want to speak too much about the alphabet community because they're going to come for me, but there is a question here that I want to bring up. So, I believe this could be a new thing they did for the Miss South Africa 2020. The question is, do I have to have been born a female to enter? And the answer is, you do not have to be born a female to enter the Miss South Africa pageant. However, in order to be eligible to compete internationally, the contestant must be in possession of a valid South African ID document reflecting that their sex is female. Now, I do have a lot to say about this because with this newfound feminism that we have, it's now allowing for men to enter into women's spaces. And that's what I'm saying.